My name's Chris Putland and this is my FMP proposal. So what I propose to do for this project is to create a short thriller film. It'll be around 7 to 10 minutes long and be shot in multiple locations. I'll be working on mainly sound for this, but also helping out anywhere else. And this proposal covers the sound design, recording and editing of the project. So I'll not only be recording dialogue but also Foley sound. The Foley sound can be used when editing to create a lively atmosphere and also give sound emitting elements a higher quality, such as keyboards or any little sounds that you wouldn't usually be able to hear. You can kind of boost it up by recording it separately. It also gives me better flexibility when editing as well. When recording the sound, multiple pieces of equipment will be used, such as Tascams, directional mics and shock mounts. What I've found in the past is that sound does not always complement the video in terms of quality, so in this film I'll try and record and edit sound so it supports the action on screen. So a little bit of background about the actual film. It's a short thriller called Drained. It centres around a missing person case. Two friends, Alexa and Lewis, go searching for their friend Kira, who's gone missing. However, unfortunately for Alexa, she finds herself trapped in the same place as Kira and makes every attempt to actually escape. She eventually manages to flee from the captivity of her art teacher, who uses human blood for his paintings, and finds her friend Lewis. Unbeknown to her though, Lewis is also part of the twisted scheme and leads her back into the clutches of the art teacher. So these are just some concept titles that I've done. So this is the first one, which is a little bit more sci-fi. So that was the first one, and then this one was more thriller themed. So they're just those. I prefer this one here because it's actually more in fitting with the actual genre of the film, whereas that one was a bit too sci-fi. So these are the locations we'll be using. This is the first one, which is in the basement of West Studios at college. There's power outlets here, there's overhead lighting, it's quite easily accessible, there's no stairs or anything. The only problem is clearing out this room here, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Also, we've got access at any time that college is open, and there's no disturbances in there, and it's also quite quiet. So it's a really good location, and it also kind of fits how a horrible, dark, dingy kind of basement would look if an art teacher was actually doing this. With it also being in college, it kind of fits in better as well. So this is the main room where it'll be filmed. We've also got this entranceway here, and also this little area over here. So any of these can be used. There's nothing kind of in the way for that, and nowhere needs to be accessed, and we can clear this room out if we need to. So it's a perfect location for the basement scene. So this is the woods scene, woods of Tapton House. It's just up the road from college, not very far in the car. It will be filmed at night or evening, so it'll be a bit dark. There's actually no power sources, and it might not be accessible by car at night because it's gated. However, there is lots of space, it's quite quiet, and if we needed to get some power, we could always just use the car power if we can actually get the car in there in the first place. But there's loads of different little trails, also like open areas, so it's a really good location for just a balance of wooded areas and little grassy areas that we can use. There's also a road as well, so it's quite good for that, and it's also, as I said, quite secluded, so there's not many disturbances alongside the basement, which is also quite quiet. So this is just some storyboards. It's kind of how I would do the intro to the actual film itself. So just there, the titles. So basically, from the basement entrance, I was going to track around the corner using a Ronin, and then overlay the titles here. So we got the lighting, and then the more tracking shot, sound, tracking shot, camera, tracking shot, directed, and then a tracking shot to actually reveal Alexa tied up on the table, and then the title concept that I did comes in. Then the camera tracks backwards and it reveals the setting, so it reveals the whole room here. So there's kind of lighting in there, the table, some stuff on the table, also kind of an easel where the paintings will be done. Then it goes to the chain. She tries to rip it off, she actually gets it off, and then she's a bit confused, can't get out. So that's only a very, very short part of the actual storyboards that I did, but I think the intro is really important when it comes to kind of engaging someone, so I made sure that I had all that planned out. Whether we'll actually do it like this, because I'm not directing, is up to the director, but it's just the way I would do it. So these are the team roles, so there's only 4 of us. Jeff's doing lighting, I'm doing sound, Lizzie's doing camera, and also helping me with the Foley sound, and Dana's directing. So the cinematography I would like to use would kind of be thrilling and suspenseful. So I'm going to use a smaller lens, such as a 50 or 35mm. It gives much shallower depth of field, but the only problem is that it's in small places. It doesn't kind of give much range, so it's quite close up. So we need to make sure there's enough space in all of our locations so we can actually get what we need in. The things that it doesn't actually let in create an enigma for the certain aspects of the narrative, and also completely withhold some information from the audience because they can't actually see it. These two techniques put the audience in an uneasy mindset, allowing them to create their own ideas as to what's happening. However, an enigma then answers the questions that the audience have, so everything will be revealed basically. The camera work should be very close and shallow and handheld, because it kind of adds to the uneasy and unnerving aspect to the film. So the use of Dutch tilts and vertigo shots could also support this. However, doing a vertigo shot wouldn't be possible using a 50mm because there's actually no zoom. So we'd have to use one of the normal kit lenses for that. Alright, so I'll have either a very cool colour scheme for the dark settings, and then have a warmer scheme for kind of the classroom to kind of give a contrast of the audience viewpoints. So the classroom's quite safe and happy, whereas the basement's obviously the complete opposite. So the contrast in the two colour schemes could be quite different. So this is kind of a warmer colour scheme up here, and then this is the really cool one. So that could be used in the classroom, and then this could be used in the basement. Or for the whole thing, we could kind of have a cool, uneasy colour scheme for that. For the lighting, it'll reflect and support the cinematography in the sense that the lighting will only reveal certain aspects of a scene. So I want lots of shadowy areas, so it also adds to the enigma, which is quite key for thriller genre. Using dim, cool lights to highlight certain parts of a scene, such as this, which is from Star Wars. You could even use coloured filters such as blues and reds, which would connote blood and death, which for the red one, and the blue one would just connote kind of a scary and cold, dark place. In the first scene though, the audience would not explicitly know that what actually is happening down in the basement, so the shadowy areas would allow the audience to kind of make their own mind up, which again support the enigma. Using a warmer light in the classroom scene, if this is the direction we choose to take it, instead of just a whole dark, cool colour scheme, would connote safety and happiness, which is an interesting contrast from that of the basement, which, as I said, is complete opposite. Sound is a fundamental aspect of actually thriller, because we need to create eerie and suspenseful environment, which sound really does as well as the cinematography. So emphasis on certain noises such as footsteps, machines, the chains, the dripping syringe will boost this feeling for the audience. Maintaining a rather quiet, non-prominent soundtrack will help build the mood even more. However, Foley should be used. However, the Foley should be the main track the audience can hear. This means that most sounds in a scene need to be recorded in high quality and then malleable enough for boosting and editing we need to. Any ambient sound needs to be the same and should complement the other sounds in the scene to build a full realistic environment, from the buzzing of the fluorescent lights to the sound of the chains rattling. So we just need a really rich and deep sound base, really. So these are some of the Foley sounds I could do. Got the drips, the footsteps in the woods, on the concrete, on the gravel, so for all the different surfaces. Just some atmosphere for schools, woods, so you can get these all online, but we'd probably record these here, and also the car passing is probably best to do online as well. So the editing will need to have a range of different pacing with the action on screen. For the introduction, a slow pace will be more suitable, as the feeling I wish to connote is one of confusion and uncertainty. However, for more upbeat scenes, the pacing will be normal, to reflect the relaxed and calm atmosphere of the location. Jump cuts and unexpected changes within the edit will further the feeling of unease and curiosity in the audience, as they will be surprised by the changes that aren't always conventional in the film. While this technique works, it shouldn't be overused within the edit, otherwise the audience will no longer be surprised and it just doesn't have its desired effect in the end. So that's it.